Hello and welcome to the next video of the Reloadly gift card series. My name is Junaid Maksud, and in the last video we saw the different categorization that we had for the Reloadly gift card product catalog. In this video, our focus will be solely on the products endpoint and seeing what kind of information is available for each individual product. And we'll also deep dive into a coding example and see how we can use the information we gathered in the last videos to filter through the products for a particular country or for a particular category. So let's get right into it. So right now I'm at the Reloadly gift card API reference documentation page. So here if we click on get products, we see the products endpoint. We can see we can create a get request to the /products endpoint and we can retrieve the information for all the products that are available. So here if we expand the request, we see various parameters that are available via the API. So this endpoint is by default paginated. So basically what that means is you get response in chunks. So you get a page number and you can specify the page number and the size of the number of items to retrieve per page. We can also filter via the product name, the country code. We can filter via the category ID, and we have two booleans available to include range-based products and fixed item-based products. So what the denomination type is basically, there are two types of products available. One is the range-based denomination product and the other one is the fixed denomination type product. So for the products that are of fixed denomination type, what that means is you'll get an array of values that are supported. So for example, a gift card supports $10, $20, $30 and only those three values. Then you'll have a fixed denomination type and you'll retrieve the supported values that are for that particular product. For a range-based denomination, you'll have a minimum range and then a maximum range. And basically any value between those ranges is supported for that particular product. So if we check the response, we see that we have an array of products, and for each products there is a field for additional requirement that tells that if there is an additional requirement for this product when you are ordering that product. So some products might require a user ID, and this is only applicable for certain products. And you also have a brands object that will tell what the brand detail are for this product. You'll have a category, country that the product belongs to. You'll have the denomination type, the discount percentage that is available, fixed recipient denominations. So basically if it's a fixed type denomination product, then you'll have a fixed recipient denominations that will be an array that contains fixed amounts for which a gift card can be purchased for. These will be the recipient values. So for example, if you're ordering a product that's for India, then the recipient currency will be Indian rupee, and this will be the values in that currency. You'll also have a fixed recipient to sender denomination. This will act as a conversion map between the price on your account and the value that will be converted for the user's recipient's currency. You have another array for the fixed sender denomination, which are the array for the amounts in your account's currency. There is a global boolean that tells if the gift card is a global or a regional based product. You'll have logo URLs containing the URL link of the image for the gift card product. And then you have some variables for max recipient denomination, max sender denomination, minimum sender denomination, and minimum recipient denomination. So you'll only have either this populated or the fixed ranges variables populated. So based on the denomination type of that product. So if it's a fixed based product, then you'll have the fixed values, what are supported for that product. If it's a range based product, then you'll have the minimum and maximum values that are supported for that product. And for any of these, you have the option to get the value for in either the recipient's country currency or the account's currency. And then obviously you have the unique identifier for that product, the product name, and the recipient currency code, the sender currency code, and the redeem instructions available for that product. And then we have some other fields for the fees if they are being charged and what's the percentage of that fee. So there might be a flat fee that's applicable for this product that you can include in your calculations for when the customer is paying for that product. And you might also have a percentage that's applied as a fee. The status tells us if that product is available, if it's active or if it's been inactive. And there's also a boolean for supports pre-order. So it tells that if this product is available for pre-order or not. We also have a few other endpoints, like we have a get product by ID. So for example, if you want to reconfirm or get a complete object for the product by a specific ID of that product. So for example, you fetched all the products, like an example case will be you fetch all the products, and when the customer is ordering a particular product, you want to reconfirm if the values are correct, if has been any change in pricing or not, you can fetch that product by that ID. You also have the endpoint to fetch all the products by the ISO code, so retrieve the details of every product that is available to a country by making this request. So now let's switch to Postman and see how each of these endpoints will work and how it will look like. So right now I'm in Postman. This is where we left off in the last video. So I already have the token created and added to this request. Let me just confirm if that token is valid. So the token has expired. So in case the token has expired, you'll see this error message with the error code token expired. So let's generate a new token for the, I'm currently generating for the sandbox environment. So this is the new token. So let me just copy and replace that token. Okay, so we have the active token now. So the first endpoint that we're going to look at is the products endpoint. So this is the products endpoint. So again, we have the content array that's telling us that's giving us all the products that are available. And this endpoint, as I mentioned before, it's paginated. So we have a pageable object as well that tells us if it's sorted, what's the sort mechanism, and what's the page number, what's the page size, what's the offset, and what are the total elements that are available, or what are the total pages, and all that information about the pagination of this endpoint, right? So by default, the pagination is 200. So we can change that. We can specify a size. Let's say I want to fetch 10 products in one API request. So now we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we have 10 products, and the pageable object is telling us that the page size is now 10, and we have total 297 pages that are available. So you have, when you're fetching the products, you'll have to create a paginated endpoint so that you can read the request in paginated way and then store them accordingly or process them accordingly. We also have some other parameters, like I can specify country code. So let's say US. So now we're retrieving the products for that country code. And we have other filters here as well, like if you want to include range based products, you can set that as true, and so on. So that is the first endpoint. Let's check out the next endpoint. So in order to get a product by a particular ID, let's say I want to fetch only this product. So the product ID is 18270. So I can say /products/ the product ID, that is 18270. And now I have all the details of that particular product. There is also an endpoint to get the products by the country ISO. So countries / and then the country ISO. So let's say US and then /products. So this will return all the products for that particular country. So these are the 3 products endpoint that we are going to look at into this video. So now we've seen how they actually work via Postman. Next, we're going to switch to a code editor and see how we can use this information to create a product catalog. We'll also see how the filters work and how we can create our own filters within the project to filter through these products. Okay, so that we are now back on our code editor. Let's try to create our endpoint to get the products. So I've created an endpoint /products, and we're making the request to the Reloadly API. So this is the same project that we were using in our previous video. If you have not watched those videos, I would highly suggest going back and watching those videos. So let's try to run the project, and now we will go to our localhost 3000 and /API/products. And we have the same response that we were getting from the Reloadly API. So we're just sending the same response here. So we have the products, and then we have the pageable object. So currently we're getting the first page and 200 products. So what we can do is we can get the page and size from query and then add them there. We don't need the size for now, we just need the page. Let's restart it, and if we go back, and then we can get the second page. See, page number is, and then the next one, and so on. So we can also confirm the products are changing when we change the page. So that is one way to just check if the API is returning the response. Ideally, what we will do is we will fetch them, the products, and then sync them in our database. So previously we created a MongoDB instance and then populated that with brands, categories, and countries. So now what I've done is I've created a model for product, and then we have a sync product function in there that's fetching the products from the Reloadly API, and then it's looping over the total pages that we get from the response, and then for each page it's syncing all the product information in our database. So in order to run this, we can simply run this function via an API or a background service. So what I've done is, if we go back, if we go back to the env, we can enable the cron job and the sync on startup. So this is where we left off in the previous video. So if you're not familiar with what these mean, I would highly suggest going back and watching the last video. So in the server.js, we have this sync process that when the application starts, if that boolean is true on the environment, then it will sync all the information from the Reloadly API. This is just for dummy purposes, just to showcase how it will look like. So let's go back and see the MongoDB instance. We have brands, categories, and countries. We don't have products. So I'm going to start the service again, and this time, as those booleans are true, it will start syncing the categories, brands, countries, and the products. So we're fetching the first page, and then we're fetching the second page, the next one, and so on. And this product sync was completed, and if we now refresh, we will see a new products collection, and we have items populated here. So for each product, we are syncing all the information that we're getting from the API, and then we're creating a reference for our brand ID, the category ID. We get all this information from the API. So for each product, like this is the dummy API that we created to just check the response from the API. For each product, we have a brand, and then the brand ID, and then the name, and then the logo URL. We have the category and its ID, we have the country and the ISO. So all that information is saved, and we can use this information to filter through the products. So let's also check how that filter will look like. So I'm going to stop the application, and I want to stop the syncing. So let's stop the sync. And let me just remove these. So these are some endpoints that I've already created. So what these are doing is these are not interacting with the Reloadly API, but they are interacting with our database. So if we go into the get products, we can see that we're fetching from our DB collection, and then we are filtering if there are any filters enabled, and we're returning the products from our database. So let's start the service now and see how that looks like. So now if I go back to the products, and we get the response, and this time the response is different because this is the response from our database collection. And we can do some great things here. We can filter via brand ID. Like for example, if I go in our brands and try to find an ID, so we have this ID 2 for Amazon. So let's try brand ID equals to 2, and we can see that we have 11 items. So this is the Amazon product for Saudi Arabia, and this is the Amazon for Australia, Amazon for Australia again, and this is Germany, right? So we have filtered the Amazon products only. We can also do the same for a particular category. So let's filter via category ID. Let's see what the categories are available in our database. So we have gaming, that is the ID 3. So let's try 3. And we have 1061 products. And this is the category gaming. And so on. We can also do the same via the We can also filter via country. So in order to do that, let's try to find the country ISO. So let's say I want to filter for US. So we have the country ISO US. Let me just create a function for that. I'm not sure if we have a function. Let's create const get products by country ISO, and let's see if the autocomplete figured it out. So we get the collection, we get the country ISO. I think that is small case. So country ISO is country ISO, and then we are filtering through country ISO. Okay, that looks good. And here we can get country ISO and then filter by that. So let's stop and restart. Now we should be able to do the same with country ISO. Let's say US. Okay, so it's not defined. Oh, sorry. So we also need to export this function and then import this function. That should do it. And now the MongoDB is connected. Let's try again. And there we go. We have products and we have successfully filtered through the country ISO. So these are all the products for the US. And we can do the same for, let's say, CA. These are all the products for Canada. Let's do PK. These are all the products for Pakistan. So one last thing that I want to cover is if we go to our database and see products. So the one thing that I've seen from my experience people are a lot of time confused about is the denomination type. So I can explain, like for example, for this product, the denomination type is range. So what that means is this product supports a minimum sender value of 40 and a maximum sender value of 143. So whatever the account currency for your Reloadly account is, like for mine it's Canadian dollar. So that means that this product supports 40.29 Canadian dollar up to 143.01 Canadian dollar. So that means I can create an order for this product for, let's say, 50 Canadian dollar. And we also have the recipient denomination. So it's 25 up to 88.73. So the recipient is basically, so this is a Netflix product and it's for Spain ES. And the recipient country currency code is EUR, euro. So this means that this product supports 25 euro up to 88.73 euro. So any value in between that range is supported by this product. So let's try to find a product. So let's do denomination type is fixed, just so I can showcase that as well. So that was the example for a range one. This will be a fixed product. So this is another example, like this is a Netflix product for Poland. It supports fixed denomination type, which means so we won't have any value for min and max. We would have a range for fixed and fixed in sender currency and a fixed range for recipient currency. So again, the currency for my account here, it's also given by the API. So the sender currency is CAD. That's the currency of my Reloadly account. So this product supports 23.9 Canadian dollar, 31.87 Canadian dollar, 47.81 Canadian dollar, or you can look at it in like recipient currency. So that is PLN. So that is Poland currency, Polish. So 60 PLN, 80 PLN, 120 PLN. So based on how you want you're constructing your system, you will use this information to show the products accordingly on your front end, and your backend will do these calculations as well. The other thing we have is the fee. So if that product has any fee associated to it, so you'll have a sender fee, that is a static amount that will be applied on the product, and then there's a fee percentage, that's the percentage fee that's applied. And we'll also have some discount percentages, as this is a dummy account that I'm using and we are on the sandbox environment, so this information is just for the dummy purposes. We also get the exchange rate from the account currency to the recipient currency. So here for CAD to PLN, this is the exchange rate that we're getting for this product. So every product will have an associated exchange rate, all the details for the sender amount, the recipient amounts. So an example scenario will be, let's say you want you're constructing your website, and it's localized. So if a customer for US comes to your website, it automatically detects that the customer is coming from the US, and you want to show all the currencies, all the products that are available in the US. So you can filter via the country ISO. And if you wanted to show that customer the amounts in their currency, so he's coming from the US, so you have products that are available in the US and their denomination currency will be the US dollar, and you can use the recipient denomination for fixed and show them as 20 USD and so on, if that product is US based. Like for example, this product is US based, so the recipient currency code is USD, so these amounts are in USD, right? So the next thing that I want to show is for fixed, we also have the recipient to sender mapping. So this is another field that's available via the API. So it's telling us that the 20 recipient amount, that is the 20 US dollar, maps to 28.6 Canadian dollar. So it's combining both of these arrays into one. So you can just use this one if you wanted to basically map your product from the recipient currency to your account's currency. So that was it for this video. In this video, we saw the different product endpoints and the information that is associated with each product and what it actually means. And we also saw how we can use the brand ID, the country ID, and the category ID to filter through the products. In the next video, we will see the redeem instructions that are available via the API for each individual product and what that actually means, and how we can show that information to the user to help them redeem the gift card product. So see you in the next one.